Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum
Oh,
bum
man,
bum
bum.
man 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 bum 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 bum.
Go on, let's join in. Money, man, bum, bum, bum. Bash Bros. I need to change the background.
Oh, you're on Bro Says.
Shit.
McNabb going old school. The vest and cut off. I like it.
Yeah. Well, it's actually just snowing, actually. It's just seemed. It seemed.
It's just when you got traps that big, it makes every t-shirt look like
everything's a cut off.
You got 2 pillows in your neck, boy.
It's good. It's good for. Well, if I could sleep, it would be good for sleeping.
Oh, you mentioned you sleep again.
It's a big part of my life.
It's not a very small part of your life.
Yeah, that's true. I've come today as a traffic cone, though.
Same.
I know it's a bit late for Halloween, but
yeah, you got burned last week.
We've got all the colours today.
That's right. Johnny's out angling his own head.
I don't even know what this angle is. I've got my phone screen. It's about that big. I don't even know what it looks like.
You look massive. It's okay.
I'll take that. I don't get that very often.
Good thing I'm not insecure on this podcast. I feel tiny every week.
How did you get a background like that? Sound that?
Yeah, it's just literally you can change it in your video settings, but the other lads are not committed enough.
I won't change it.
Have you sent us the thing there?
What, the logo?
Yeah.
No, you can just save it, can't you?
Save it.
That's too much effort for McNabb. Too much effort.
He's turned his camera off now. What the fuck he's doing?
What else can you do? Can you put it like you're on a beach or something?
Yeah.
Jack can do loads of shit. Don't start.
He's got to use.
He's getting bummed by Yoda.
Yeah. That's decent, that, mind. All right, let's get this fucking show on the road. Johnny's going to lay it down.
Am I doing the intro this week, or Garrett, you going to have another
go? Go on, Garrett, give us a laugh.
Come on, then. Let's do it. Right, welcome back to another episode of Bash Bros, episode 57 with Johnny McKenna. Johnny, where did it start from for you, bud? How did you get into it and everything?
Well, that was a bit harsh.
Fucking hell,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
You said crack on. I'm going to fucking crack on. Like,
warm him up a little bit.
Johnny does his shit, like, how we got so much fucking mass on him. Like, I want to get this shit in. Let's fucking go. Like.
Fair play, he's nailed it. Go on, then.
Okay, so I'm Johnny Mack. I'm from Liverpool. I am a sort of class 2 heavyweight bodybuilder. What else was I meant to say? I'm not really good at these.
How you got into it? Why you started? Like, what was the journey?
Oh, right. You know what? Everyone sort of starts training because they just sort of want to look better. And you stumble across YouTube videos of like free thing. Oh, I want to look like that. I think the first video I see will probably Ronnie Coleman. I think everyone sort of stumbles across them old Ronnie videos. I never actually really intended on competing or anything like that. But my first ever show was in a board short at Body Power, and then just sort of went down that route. So I was going to be a muscle model. I done a competition. I got moved up into like class 2 bodybuilding, and then from there I did 7 shows in a year. I had a bit of a bad year after that, and then sort of made a bit of a comeback with it, a bit of going with it this year. So that's where I'm at the minute.
You did 7 shows in 1 year.
That's actually when I first met you. You probably won't remember it. I done the Nabber Northwest as a novice.
Okay.
I actually got disqualified, which was a funny one. Because the previous show I done muscle model. They moved me up. I wasn't expecting to place, but I ended up placing the PCA show. And then I said, "Yeah, you're okay competing or whatever." And then so I won the novice, invited me to the Bristol, and then disqualified me. So all right, well, can I do the class? I'll do the class 2 then. I'll just have a crack at that. See how fair. Obviously, that's where it started. Got there, that NABA Britain, and then I followed on from that. You got the Universe and a couple of IBFA shows and things like that. It was 7 that year.
So what at the NABA Britain 2018?
You won that.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember.
I love Dan's like, oh, you mean the NABA Britain?
Well, no, the thing I was telling Gavin, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember meeting him, so I'm a bit embarrassed now. If I'm completely honest.
You wouldn't. At the end of the day, it's show days, like you're on another planet, aren't you? But I just remember seeing you like I was probably 6'3", something like that. Backstage, just this units. That's where I obviously I don't think we met.
Yeah.
But obviously I've seen you backstage. Dated him like
on the Dream Tan, just when they did it up where it looks like they've like padded the fucking whole arena backstage, doesn't it? It looks like even in the toilet, if anyone's not actually been it, like even the toilet is like plasticed all the way and then like a bubble and then the toilet's even like plasticed over and you just like shit in the plastic, which apparently there's no limit to once it can't flush. Apparently that can still be built upon. I don't know what it is about. It's fuck. What show did I did like there was a UK BFF one and it was in this theatre and the bodybuilders managed to actually completely block the whole sewage system for this building. And then they had to like all the people that needed a piss had to go to like this bar next door and ruin that place. It was absolutely fucking horrendous. So bodybuilding shows, they're really glitzy and nice. It's just basically people shitting on top of each other, farting and lying on bin bags. It's mint.
Yeah, especially with the NABA. Obviously, you've got the Dream Tan stuff is a lot worse than regular tan in it. And they do their best. They put all that white stuff all over the walls, the bag and that, and people just tear it up and this like the toilet seats and stuff are just fucking battered.
Most people ban that from the show.
I think PCA and NABA you can still use it, but like Two Bros and IFBB and MPC it's been banned for ages. UK BFF it was banned. I think it's just because they didn't want to fuck venues off, which is fair enough, I guess. But I mean, Dream Tan for me was easy because I can literally just. Yeah. And then it's like done. Now I have to actually like do the tan, and it's just an incredible amount of layers. Yeah. I don't know how you are at taking up the tan, but
I'm pale, really pale.
That ain't pale. Look at my face. I look like I've fucking burnt it off, mate. I look like I've done 3 weeks in Costa del Sol on my back.
You're showing Johnny up today.
Fucking hell.
Not right. Well,
no, Johnny Reed. Johnny Reed's like blending in with the white background at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've got a ring light, Johnny.
My light is too bright, I think.
You got a ring light.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, softened your face. Now you just look like a man with an upside down head.
Yeah, well, mine doesn't look inside out like yours.
That was good. Got nothing.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so John, obviously you haven't really given us a list of what shows you've won, how it all went, what was the crack, what's the plans? Give us a little rundown on that part.
Okay, so I'd say like it also obviously started 2018 when staying with Dan. Started as a muscle model, moved up to a class 2 bodybuilding PCA, where I come third out of say something like that. Done the NABA novice and won that. Come third in the NABA Britain as a class 2. The day after that, I dropped into a show in Northumberland, which is an RBFA show. They won the overall. It was my first ever overall, which I won. And then that qualified me for their Britain. So then won that 2 weeks later, the overall Britain for the RBFA. I then went on to the PCA Britain, which I got smoked and I didn't place, so I got spanked that year. 4 weeks after that, I done the NABA Universe, which come 5th. And this is all still my first season, so
I'm going to do all of the shows. I'm going to do all of them, test them out. You did a Tony Freeman. Tony Freeman used to compete 30 times a year, didn't he?
No, I didn't have a clue at the time. I just thought, I'm just gonna ride this wave. Like I still thought it was a muscle model, so I didn't even know how to pose. anything like that. Was just turning up and having a crack at it, which was good. I had a year, the following year, we just took the following year off. But I ended up competing again in 2020. Probably worst showing to date, I'll be honest. I was an online coach. I won't mention anyone, I don't think it's fair. But I had a really, really bad showing. I put the second out of 2, which is a loss, isn't it?
So who coached you then?
Pardon?
Who coached you?
He's not throwing him under the bus.
I'm allowed to. Anyone watching this would know who it is. It's an online coach. I'm not gonna want to drop anyone in, but what I will say is that obviously I always try and say there's external factors. There's 100 factors around competing, not just your coach. Obviously, you can always put 100% into a prep, but it can go either way depending on external factors. The guy who can't remember the guy's name. The guy who beat me is actually a pro now. He's called it turned pro that year. And then obviously this year, I had to go 2 bros. Go back to 2 bros again. I won a regional qualifier, and then I won the Britain.
Which was the qualifier?
Which one was the qualifier? La Familia. They've all got mad names.
Yeah.
They're all in exactly the same place. I'm not skipping the show. I think it's a great show.
If you turn up at the venue, there's going to be a show there. So just go there. That's where it is.
The Braywick Collection Centre, which every show is there for 2 bros.
Unless it's in a tent, obviously.
Yeah.
Hey?
Unless it's in a tent.
Oh well, no, I don't want to say too much. I've shared my experience with that, so I can't comment. But there's been a lot of that. I think it was like
It's a pretty decent venue, though. To be fair,
it's nice. It's nice. It's the pathway to the pro card. So I think when people go, obviously you are entitled to your opinion, but you want your pro card, you've got to follow that route. I always sort of reserve judgment on it. I don't say too much, but obviously I've always had positive experiences, so I've not competed in a 10 year.
What's the next show?
So now I need to move. I basically need to move up way fast. I'm sort of with the last show being I was a heavyweight, and I sort of made weight by 4 pounds. I was within the weight cap by 4 pounds, but I actually got beaten by Marion Stramko, I think his name is. It's absolute lump. Just turned up. No one knew who he was. Just turned up, and he won the overall and got the pro card this year. So I've sort of judged now is they're going to give the pro card to the super heavyweight with him being out of the box, ready to go and compete as a pro.
that was an interesting decision.
Yeah, I don't know who's seen it or.
I've seen him. Don't get me wrong; he is massive. I just think that they should penalise conditioning like that more aggressively.
Yeah, I've since looked back at the pictures. He was just massive. He was like I don't know. If somebody's going to win the pro card, there should be a clear winner, and he was just absolutely at every pose. He was huge. When he hit like a side chest, and like it's sort of like far arm. It was like look out here. Was like, how have you done that? Like them arms were like 24 inches or something, and that's what I drew from it. Obviously, that big and that well developed to be then dropped 16 pounds for a pro qualifier, a pro show, or a pro debut. Stand next to Nathan, like, or Samson. He could start or Hollinshead. He's of that size. His conditioning was off. But I always try and draw positives from it. But that's why I think.
I do get what you're saying, and actually, usually there isn't a foresight for what they'll actually do in the pro league, like the kind of the weird stuff with the classic guys having to be a certain weight, so they have to drop weight to be the thing, and then as soon as they're a pro, they've got to put on like £10 of tissue. Like it's strange that the federation doesn't want to feed like pro stuff that can happen. Like condition, you're right. You can sort out condition in a prep. but you can't accumulate 10 pound of mass in a season, can you?
Well, that's what we said, wasn't it? When we watched
Yeah.
and we saw the results, we said essentially that we thought that they picked him because he would have fitted in that pro lineup better, size wise. Do you know what I mean?
It. I've got certain people that I've got my eyes on from, within the UK. You've got the pro card and things like that. I follow certain people. I think could I stand next to them? So I couldn't stand next to Nathan. I've met Nathan. He's huge. Nathan's a freak. Like, he's massive. Hans, I've never met him, but he's 270, 280.
He's a monster, mate. He is. It actually doesn't make sense until you're there. It's actually it's even worse. Yeah. It's even worse than Nathan. I don't know why. I mean, obviously, he didn't do the best showing at the Olympia, but it's the fucking Olympia. Yeah, in real life, just the legs.
Yeah. You want to turn up and get spanked. Like, I just couldn't. You couldn't do it. And I would after having like a successful season, you sort of ride that, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to turn up with the Arnolds, and I'm placing nowhere. It's like, there's no point. But there's certain people I think I could stand next to, but that's how.
It is really hard as well. Like, you see at the Arnold, for example, you see the amateur show, then you see the pro show. Even just the way that they all carry themselves is like different. It's like there's an aura around them. It is like you can feel like, oh, this is a level up. Like, even just the way that everyone is and the stage presence. Like, do you know what I mean? And you don't, until you stand next to someone like this, you actually don't know what they look like. Like, Mark Hector's a good example of stand next to him. You're like, yeah, I could stand next to him. And then somehow it doesn't fucking matter because his silhouette on stage just looks fucking insane. Like, it's just like, because he's not that big. And then, but on stage, something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking, he looks amazing on stage. And then, well, I mean, because he beat Samson, didn't he, at the Europa?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just for that, and Samson's had a bit of a rough ride throughout it, so we'll cover it later. But I'm well chuffed.
Yeah,
and we only just had him.
Well, he looked well this weekend.
Sick.
Definitely. Okay, so we'll get stuck into some questions. Geraint, I know you had them up on your phone, pal. So since you're the one that's going to be doing most of the fucking up this week, I'll give you ample opportunity to do that.
So Mike AJ Taylor said, "Why does Johnny finger everyone's belly button when he tans them, or is it just me?"
That made me crease. So yeah,
what's that about?
Basically, I've got to explain it. I didn't have a clue about bodybuilding. I was saying like, obviously I'd done the novice and I'd done the Britain. So I was doing the Britain as a novice pretty much. And me and Mike were training the same gym. So like, don't worry about your tan. We'll go to just buy some dream tan. We'll put a tan on in the car park and we'll put a second coat on when we go in. And he's like, yeah, you just do mine first. Put dabs on and just sort of try and like even it out. I was like, okay, like, and then like dabbing his belly button. And I thought, well, I can't leave it white. It's going to look stupid. I don't know, do I?
Can you imagine what that looked like to onlookers? Two massive bodybuilders in a car park. It's
like, I was looking, I was like, I can't leave it white. It's like, it's going to look stupid. But you wouldn't know. Bodybuilding's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you forget, like, even just the weirdest thing of like loads of men sitting around a podcast talking about another man's legs, like, is a bit fucking weird on its own. And then when you start fingering people's belly buttons, I mean, it's the lines get blurred. It's men in pants.
Dan, can you do me a favour? Can you put your glasses back on, please? You're scaring me.
Yeah, I know, but I was getting a reflection. There you go. I was softening the face. I just need to like angle it so I can there's a bit of a reflection in it.
He seems to get more passionate as soon as his glasses are lifted up. It's just like
getting a reflection in it. It was putting me off. But yeah, it softens my face. Yeah.
Right. Next question, G.
Right. My phone keeps locking up. Right.
I've got a question because how long ago was it since you competed?
Oh, August I competed, first week of August.
I'm not good on months. Is that wrong?
Almost 3 months.
How much weight have you put on in that time?
I was 219 on stage. I'm 278 now. It's a bit like, what's that, 60 odd?
60 pounds.
About 50 pounds, isn't it? About 58 pounds, 60 pounds.
Well, I saw your like show shot, and then you've got like a shot, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like absolute fucking monsters come out. Did you control the rebound, or you were like, I'm in?
Yeah, you know what? I had post show. I had a wedding to attend in Cyprus, so I went basically had this holiday 4 weeks post show. So I had a suit to fit in, but the fitting for the suit was 2 weeks out, so it was tailored 2 weeks out condition. So I then had to try and hold that, and I probably put on about 20 pounds in 4 weeks, which was more than I'd wanted to. Where I was itching to grow at that point, so it's hard to maintain.
So that shirt was rather tight by then, was it?
Honestly, it doesn't fit now. Put a picture of it. Yes,
he's wearing it now. That's what's left of it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the shirt. The shirt was like we had to get it all taken in the back. Took like 7 inches off the blazer. It's a nightmare suit, isn't it?
I fucking hate that. I had a suit tailored, and I sent it off, and I had quite a small window, and the woman who obviously at the other end didn't believe the actual markings, so it was like, this is too much, and so didn't do them. Did them like close, sent it back. I tried on the suit, and I was like, it doesn't fit. And they were like, oh no, she thought that. Then I was like, didn't you put like a note on that says, I know this sounds stupid, but can you just fucking do it? So I had to go in this. I paid to buy the suit and have it tailored, and still look like a cunt. I mean, I'd look like a cunt anyway, but in a special cunt.
I mean, you can't
look like the sort of cunt that wouldn't have his suit tailored.
It's like wrapping and framing a turd, don't it?
Yeah, glitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, since then I've just been pushing food up. Since then, like so, I'd say it's controlled, but I can push it quite easy. But I had to push and then pull back a little bit. I'm sort of getting to the stage now, I get like back pumps. It's like affecting my training. Which I do quite a few squats and deadlifts is on my sort of thing.
60 pound will do that, John.
Yeah, it's heavy, innit? I'm trying to fight my way around it. Tom's changed me training. I'm with Tom Hames, Evo training. I don't know. He basically changed all my training now. Basically, to stop me from being a gobshite. I just want to lift weights. Like that's why I go there, ripping weights off the floor, whether it's deadlift, squats, or whatever. We changed my rep range now, so it's 15 reps. I just gas now, so I can't do 300 kilos, 15 reps. I did try. I can't do that. That's where I'm at. So now it's just a case of holding back and controlling the movements and stuff like that.
Well, there's a point where you get to a weight and your performance is impacted, especially if it's a weight that you haven't touched before, or body weight you haven't like been, for a while, and then the performance lags to such an extent that it's pointless carrying that weight.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's kind of, you're getting close to that. I'm sure Tom's going to make, an adjustment.
Yeah, I think with the change in the plan now, see what we can squeeze out. And he said, like, if it starts to get, obviously, I don't know why the goal seems to be for most people is 300 pounds. Like, it's just a magic number. It's 300 pounds. I'd be massive or something. But
it's a nice number though. It's got zeros.
It is, isn't it?
It's got zeros and stuff.
Yeah, it looks alright, doesn't it? On paper.
Yeah, the difference being, John, how tall are you, John?
5'9".
Yeah, I mean,
300 at 5'9" is outrageous.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be good, that fight.
Yeah,
well, it won't be nice for you.
Yeah, you'd feel like utter death. Like the heavy. I mean, I'm 6'2", and the heaviest I got to was 315, and it was fucking horrendous. It was actually horrendous. So I don't think I'm gonna do that again, but I probably will.
You sort of think that it's going to be beneficial. Do you need to push that far? But I can't see any way of putting that much size in an off season. I've done it before. I gained maybe 30 pounds stage weight in a year. You can't. No matter where you couldn't do that in the other way. Where you can eat clean and how do you gauge that? So we've only put 50 pounds on. I'll gain 5 pounds of muscle, and if I gain 80 pounds, I'll get 10. There's no way of working it out.
No.
You just got to. I believe you just got to push and then monitor how you look, and then push and monitor. Like, can't really put cap on it, can you?
No, I think that like you do have to go and touch it a few times. Unless you're a genetic freak, like you do have to go and push just to get your body used to just carrying that around. And it does get easier. Like each time I remember hitting some weights now that are like way back from like, they're like stage weights. But like when I first hit them, they were fucking horrendous. The amount of food and stuff to get to them. And each time you push that envelope, that little step back where performance is good is just a little bit higher. You're kind of, it's like reps in reserve, but body weight.
Yeah, exactly that. So, go on, Jack. You were going to say?
I was going to say, so Johnny, if you're 60 pound up now, what does that look like in terms of calories? How much are you putting away at the moment?
At the minute, 6,000 calories. About 1,005 grams of carbs. I couldn't tell you the exact protein. I'll just look at the carbs at 1,000.
The important stuff.
Fats are like 50. So I think the protein like 370 or something like that.
So 1,000 grams of carbs a day, is that a lot of rice or?
Yeah, moving on. It's a lot of it's clean foods. Like I'd say the worst. Well, in the mornings like 3 bagels and grams of jam, and then that's the day. So it gets cocoa pops to like 200 grams of cocoa pops and then 3 squares as well. They're just nice big meals. And so I think the ones have got like a potato meal in there, it's 5 grams, and then pasta meals, 150 grams of uncooked pasta. So they're just nice big meals. They're not a lot of dirty food in there, other than the cocoa pop squares and the bagels. I think they don't really say they're dirty now. I think that's what everyone eats, isn't it?
It is now.
Yeah, squares is on everyone's plan these days.
Yeah. You eat Rice Krispies and then Rice Krispies made into a shape. But you've got to have both, otherwise they combine in the gut. Protein synthesis turns on mTOR, and then massive science.
You expect that now, dude.
Yeah.
John, what's your digestion like on that amount of food?
6,000 is nothing, mate.
I can afford.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad, to be fair. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
I've not had any issues with it. I think. I'm not.
Can you DM Garant some pictures of your poo? Because that's what he's really after.
The stool inspector, Garant.
Yeah.
Just I'm 5'9" and I'm like, yeah, fucking, I won't be that big.
But he's worried he's going to shit himself. He's worried. Just can't handle the pooing. Can do everything else.
I think probably the biggest difference off season digestion is you go to the toilet more, don't you? Not really. Well, there's no issues with it in terms of like I'm bloated or anything like that. Get through place. So don't bother with any.
I have hit places like that where inflammation's set in and the microbiome's thrown off, and it is a cunt to like restore once you've got inflammation in there and so yeah.
I think the hardest part for me was post competition. I just had more problems with digestion at that point. I couldn't eat anything off plan after the show. Stomach was out here anyway now, but it's just my stomach would swell out. Post show when you have like an off plan meal or something like that. That's probably the worst my digestion's been this year, post show.
Yeah, I'm still getting that. Like now, we went out yesterday and like I fucking regretted it, and I didn't go like in or anything. Like had like a bit of a dessert, like a normal person dessert, and I just felt horrendous.
I've had that thing. Couldn't have a bear. Couldn't even go to Five Guys. I used to at one point that every week. Couldn't even have Five Guys go show. Couldn't handle it.
6 guys though, yeah.
So basically, Geraint, you got you got to stop being a little bitch.
Yeah, stop being a bitch, Garen.
Yeah, I got definitely a lot more.
So get some of those questions out. G, last week we barely asked any of the questions.
So
I'll fire some over, Jeff, if you want.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, do you
So
want to take it
we've touched upon big eating, Johnny. You're also renowned for your big lifts as well. So we've all seen your hack squats, we've all seen your deadlifts. Is that something you've always been sort of renowned for, or has your strength just come?
Always lifted. Always, it's always been like a staple of my training. From off, I think deadlifts. I think I started deadlifts. The first time I tried them after like a year or two of lifting, I pulled 5 plates off the deck. I've not really progressed that much. I was like 5, 6, 7, 8. I've progressed 4 plates and 2 bad over 12 years. But it's mad how it does take time, doesn't it? But always it's always been a staple in what I want to do. Big rows. I don't really post rows because you're always going to get hammered on form, aren't you? So you're always going to say something. I'll row 5 plates and somebody will say, "Oh, you're using your knees or squatting." I'm not squatting. I'm doing rows. You're going to need some momentum. But
yeah, but then you'll go on their profile and they'll be rowing 1 plate, so it's kind of like that.
You always say so. So I don't post them, but yeah, row, squats, bench, deadlift. Bench is probably like 4.5 plates. I don't bench that much because I dodge your shoulder. Yeah, it's important. I think that day your fundamentals to grow. For me, there's other people who don't train. I trained with Marcel Former the other day. I don't know if anyone knows Marcel. He's part of the gym that I train at in the Liverpool train station. He trains completely different, but again has a lot of muscle and a great physique. So it's interesting to see different people's concepts around training. He's probably not got as many injuries as I have. So.
Also, you've got to pick a training system that you resonate with, that gets you excited, that you're into. Like, it's got to like make sense to you. You have to believe in it, and that's probably more important. I find that people that, aside from the people that can just pump stuff around and get massive because they've got genetics, like, I don't know, that's why I still do HIIT training. I believe that it is the most beneficial if you can actually harness it. Yeah. And it's what always got me going, watching Dorian Yates fuck shit up, like watching Amph, like reading Mike Metzer, like, I don't know, it made sense to me.
I think for me, it doesn't matter what type of training it is, it's the intensity that's used. Like, and that's what people are lacking, that like they'll bounce around different plans or they'll follow sort of whatever's trending, but they still won't have the intensity to go with it. There's times, well, I do obviously I do like my squats, I do like my deadlifts, but there at the start of the session, and I'll do one working set on squats and I'll be fucked. The rest of the workouts are right off, but I've put everything I could into that. So I might do a set, like I say, I'm doing 6 plates on squats. Like every week I'll try and beat the reps. So like I was trying to get to 20 reps at one point, and it's that will gas you in itself, aiming for that many. And there's no like theory behind it. That's just how I've always trained. Is obviously that's my way of progressive overload. But it's that intensity to get to that reps and leaving nothing is what's going to get is going to build muscle for me.
I think that's an everything. That's the basis of every training plan, whatever it looks like on paper. You're absolutely right. That is what makes muscle happen.
Can we just go back a bit? You were aiming for 20 reps with 6 plates?
Yeah.
Fuck off. I quit. I'm off.
It'll happen.
Fucking hell. That's mental.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Just to put that out there, that's not happening.
Well, I put it was 9 plates on the Atlantis the other day for 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. That machine's too fancy for me.
It's a shit machine. I'm not. It's in my gym. but it's not shit machine. That's fucking horrible. I didn't mean that. I don't mean to be nasty about saying that. It's not. It's too tame. It's too tame. It's too forgiving to be a hack squat. The hack squat's like it's like flat.
Yeah.
When you go Cybex is a bit better. It's like 45. There's older ones again that are like.
Yeah, I've seen some of the older ones that are literally upright. You can do like 2 plates.
They're the boys, man. There's one in Flex and Tone. It's a wooden foot plate from like white plastic skateboard rolling wheels.
Yeah, I know the one.
It's crap. It's crap. It creaks and it uses 1-inch plates, but that's the boy. Like people, these Atlantis are like that, and they got like the sweet, like it's like getting like a new car, isn't it?
Yeah.
New leather on it and everything.
I know the ones you mean. There's a couple of leg presses like that with the white skateboard wheels that are like this. Not quite vertical, but like
the ones but it's that people going on them machines and trying searching for that intensity and that making it harder. You see people who get like on the Atlantis is already like this, and then they'll put bands around, fancy coloured bands on it to make it like. Nah, I don't. That's not how I train. I'm not knocking that because there's a place for that. There's a place for that, and people have injuries and people are looking for certain strength planes. And there's.
But yeah, I still think that the people that are looking for certain strength planes need to actually just work on their strength usually at the beginning, because you see a lot of people. If you're doing a hack squat with one plate aside, you don't need to explore your strength curve. I'm just saying that's quite an advanced technique. You can do that later. You can do that later if you want, but maybe just work on the actual strength, not the curve bit, just for for a few years.
This is it. Like I get would knock it, but I just don't. I don't use that. That part of it. It's.
I used a band once.
Did you?
Yeah, dropped £10 immediately. It's fucked.
Right, next question.
You going, Jack?
No, go on.
All right. So
are you alternating?
You're being fucking too polite. Just somebody ask a question. Fuck off.
Go on, Jack.
No.
Oh no, you do it again.
I don't have one.
Right. Okay. Go. So another question was asked. What's the worst advice you've had through coaching, i.e., cycles, training, and so on and so forth?
Feel free to drop people under the bus.
I know. I seen the question. I can't think of any advice that I've received directly to me, but I'm very aware of clients that comes to me with just ridiculous cycles and things like that. I can't actually answer it with a personal thing, because you sort of do hear those different opinions, and most of them just go based on my head. I don't hold on to them. Obviously, I have had bad experience myself on prep, but I can't relay that to bad advice. I think it's more down to poor judgment and circumstances surrounding it. But yeah, the worst advice in the industry at the minute is the protocols, and it's a problem, especially in terms of, well, for example, the classes that do not require drugs, for me, like things like junior bodybuilding, bikini, to an extent, Turkish figure. These kind of classes that I don't believe would require that intense cycle. You're getting people. Well, I've had a lad join me, had like over a gram of strength, and he was on like, he comes to me at like 600. For some reason, he was on 600 grams of protein, and that much strength. I was like, well, what is that doing? And he was like, I'm trying to quit him for the guy never competed in the end. I had to restructure everything. But as a whole, I think it's a big problem is the gear.
But also, do you think these people are sometimes coming up with it? They're looking at like people that are doing mad shit, almost like as an example. I know that Jordan Peters used himself as a guinea pig, really. Like, not even necessarily to say do it. But then people who are like starting out are like, well, I should do what Jordan Peters does, forgetting that they're not Jordan Peters and they haven't been training for 20 years. Yeah. And they're picking up these things and going, oh, gram of gram a test, that's the same as Tren, right? It doesn't matter that Tren's a 19 nor. That's going to be fine. There's no human trials on Tren officially because they discontinued them, so it must be fine. So they go, and there's so much information that they've got none of it, and they've just gone, cool, just do that. And these are like 19-year-old kids.
Yeah. That to me, that's the worst thing. And as well as some of the women, they're taking gear, bikini girls using Mastron and things like that. Young girls, I've seen them, younger than the age of 21 using Mastron. And I don't want to say names for this. It's not fair, but it's a big problem. But honestly, obviously, I do know it's part of the sport.
How is that dog making that noise? Shushing doesn't do it. Make him fucking do something. Give him something to do. About bed. Bed's in here. Fuck.
The big dog.
Ram of Tren, that's what that does do.
Yeah. There's an example of what too much Trend does.
It wasn't a mention of it was actually Dan that was on it. Dan in pair of board shorts.
It would explain a lot.
I wish I was on a gram of Tren. I wish I could handle a gram of Tren.
You'd be in fucking prison.
I don't know how people, but even just how people, I don't know. Like, obviously, I don't do steroids, but if I did, I definitely couldn't do over 300 milligrams a week because my digestion would die. There'd be, I don't know how, is it fake? I don't know. Are they really, where does it go? Like, how do they put it in place?
Do you reckon they use like Black Labs like that? Because I couldn't use that. I think we peaked at like 150 megatren on prep, and I was 220 pounds on prep. So how are they getting away with using? What are they using? Like, is it not dosed correctly? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe not actually using that much.
Yeah, maybe shit labs are actually saving them.
Yeah, maybe so.
Underdosing come to the rescue. Next question, Jake. Come on, you can read them off, brother.
Yeah. So, if you could go back and change anything in history, what would it be?
No, what in the whole like Nazi
in
Germany?
The world?
Literally just put in anything in history. So whatever you want to change, man.
Is this your question?
No, I've seen one.
I love the question. It's
on the page, though.
Yeah, I've seen it. I was like, it's quite a big responsibility, that, isn't it?
We're gonna judge you.
Well, you're gonna piss someone off either way. So.
Yeah. You know what? I'll just start with the COVID state. I wish whatever went on there at that time, I wish we could change that because of the way it's affected our country and a lot of people close to me.
That was too good of an answer, John. I wanted something.
I can't think of anything. What can I?
I thought there's something funny.
I say I could go back and shoot Adolf Hitler or something. I don't. I would go back and I'd give him a dig, like give him a dig, give him a crack, put him in a choke. I would have Dan. Can I stand that one? What Dan do?
Yeah, well,
Dan, what would you change?
Definitely a good question.
I'd bum Adolf Hitler. Be a great story for the grandkids. Gather round, kids.
I reckon Dan would go back in history and not meet Jimmy Savile.
No sign his book.
Yeah, that would have been a solid. I don't think I was at an age
where on the doll did he touch you?
I don't think it was my choice.
That touched him.
So what you're saying is you didn't have consent. You didn't give him consent for it.
No. Not being barely out of the womb. I wasn't like voting or anything at that time.
You're probably not voting now either, are you?
No, I do vote. I just don't know which one.
Just blindly pick.
Yeah,
pretty much. There's usually two cunts, and whichever one's done like a lookalike porn, I'll usually vote for them. Because that's a solid, you know.
We had another question from Adam Led, which is actually it's actually quite a decent one. To be fair.
Okay.
He's coming out with some good ones. So, what's your favourite show you've done and why? Is there a bodybuilder you're trying to emulate in maybe terms of their look or mindset or training style?
What was that? Sorry, did you repeat it?
That's right, mate. Yeah, I'm
two questions here, really.
Right, get out. Speak more clearly, please.
Right. Okay. Let's go with what's your favourite show you've done and why?
Okay. My favourite one would have been my last one. Obviously the Two Bros British Finals. Just because of my approach, my mindset around the whole Two Bros prep. I usually with the whole bodybuilding on the whole of the UK, everyone's very public about what they're doing, and Instagram and social media's got a big sort of plays a big part in that. People are very out there. Oh, I'm competing here. I'm 6 weeks out. I'm so many weeks out. It's how I look. This is what I'm eating. How much cardio I'm doing. Here's another prep. But what I do is remove myself completely out there, and that's why I like that prep, and that's why I'm happy with the result and everything around that show. And the way that everything panned out is that I removed myself from the situation. So I just ghosted everything. Sort of put a few feelers out there. Tom was posting a few updates and things like that. He'd always post updates like so many weeks back and say, "Oh, Johnny's 3 weeks out." And I'm sat there thinking, "Look like a bag of shite." But that was the idea behind it. Was posting pictures and blaring on purpose to make people think we're playing a fucking stupid game. I know it's only amateur bodybuilding, but it's what I needed at the time to get me into that. So yeah,
I like it.
That's those. It was just different, man. It was just fucking different.
So the opposite of what other people usually do. This photo was from a couple of weeks ago, and you can tell it's definitely today.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's it was just the way it panned out, mate. It was just fucking class, man. Like, because I knew who the favourites were for the shows that I was doing.
Yeah.
Everyone was chatting on about. I'll name him now. It was James Watts. Was a fantastic bodybuilder, man. Like sick. And Connor the Real Deal. Again, sick, big guy. He's won a good deal of show himself. But they were the people making the most noise. Them too. And like I turned up. Nobody knew it would be there.
Connor doesn't make noise.
But to be fair, I actually respect him more since the show. Like, I understand what he's doing. I sort of get his attitude towards it. But then obviously I did what I did. I beat the pound over, which is good. Like I do see it as a competitive sport. Like, I kind of rode off that energy as like it was competitive. It's not just like bodybuilding and tan on. Tried to like enjoy it for what it was rather than just like turn up and put the tan or whatever. So it was, and then from that, there was like a bit of pettiness like off one of the two on Instagram was posted. It was started this whole side tricep bullshit thing. I don't know if anyone's seen that. Side tricep from the side.
Did you post a photo of yourself next to Dorian Yates after the show though, comparing yourself?
Did I? No, but did you do that?
No. That's what a certain person you were just talking about did.
Oh, did he? No, I didn't see that. There
was a similar thing that happened though, wasn't there, recently?
Oh yeah. A certain Welsh guy thought he looked like Flex Lewis.
Yeah.
He was in the blood, apparently.
Definitely wasn't in the photo.
People have got the.
I don't understand. Even if someone sent me a photo and be like, "Hey, you look a little bit like," I'd be like, "Shut your fucking mouth! How dare you, you fucking thick cunt!" Message, just block them immediately.
I robbed Dorian's like his front lats February once. So I robbed that, and then I started doing that. And I'm like, on my check-ins and stuff. I put. So I'll tag him and stuff like when I do that. I've got back up fucking.
But you're not like putting it next to him, basically saying that you're close. Like that.
No, I didn't do that. None of that.
That would be a weird.
No, I'm fucking nowhere. I don't put that. not like, it was more that he was doing that, and then
Luke Sandow started doing that as well, didn't he?
Luke did it as well, didn't he?
It's a good pose. I like it.
It's cocky, isn't it?
It's not. It's not a good pose for Dan because he's got no calves.
Yeah,
I haven't got calves.
I'm not turning my leg to the side like that. No fucking way. You're gonna just see one vein.
But I still do it.
Well, that's it then. Watch this space. If I could go back in time, I've thought about it. I'd get calf implants before I started bodybuilding, so no one would realise that they happened.
There it is.
Yeah, solid.
So, second part of the question, G.
On was it the favourite show when everyone back on? Yeah.
No, it was emulating someone, wasn't it?
Yeah. Inspirational bodybuilder.
Yeah, so emulating a bodybuilder in terms of their mindset and training style. Anyone out there?
I don't really follow. I don't follow any of the pros on social media, so I can't comment on what anyone's doing at the minute.
To be fair, I hadn't thought about that, but actually the current pros, other than the UK guys, because I'm into the UK scene, I don't really know what the fuck any of them are doing.
Yeah,
I hadn't even thought about it. I don't know what they're doing at training. I think locking yourself away in a weird gym, like in the Middle East, away from your family, is a weird thing to do. I think that's like probably not something I'd want to do. Yeah,
I think training styles. Everyone watches Ronnie Coleman more, and it's not. I'm not gonna ride off the whole like. I think it's a bit tacky. The whole like, yeah, buddy, like all that. Like I won't ride off that, but I ride off the sort of intensity through his training, like, and the way he sort of switches into sets. I like the hype behind it, but it's not like maybe it's a bit tacky now and a bit dated. And it's got the generic thing that everyone's like, oh, bodybuilding, Ronnie Coleman. Like, and then recite some of his like catchphrases, or the whole intensity around the way he trains and the weights he lifts. Obviously, I aspire to that.
Imagine how much shit Ronnie Coleman would have been on the Form Police every fucking week.
Yeah.
And look what he did with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's fucking disabled now. But like,
you watch a lot of the older fellas, the way they train, and the older 90 bodybuilders, the formers, right? Most of them they're just like completely different. They had a completely different look as well, though. So they were rounder and sort of like better flows to the physiques than 90 guys, but like the form was shaking, the training was different, and the diet pod wasn't the same, and the drugs were different. But what would it? How do they look? For me, they look better. Like that whole generation from the 90s was a better look than what we're sort of seeing now or for the past 5 years. I think it's going to transition again. Looking at the top four from this weekend, it looks like it could now transition into a new sort of look for bodybuilding. But
you say that. I think Samson was probably the biggest guy up there this weekend. Yeah,
but that flow to physique looked nuts.
Yeah, but I think so. The main difference, I guess, to back then is people these days are pushing food so high and what have you, and trying to get heavy and big in that sense. But with regards to the training, like we were talking about it a few weeks ago, the Ronnie Coleman thing, nobody's been able to emulate the intensity and the weight that he can lift at the same level. You know, you're either intense and you're relatively strong, or you're really strong and you're not quite as intense. He was able to be like ridiculously strong and intense at the same time. So I think if you can emulate that and feed what you need to get where you, like, that's essentially the secret to success. But most of us normal human beings can't do that, you know.
Well, yeah, mix that with the greatest genetics to ever walk the planet.
Yeah. But I mean, you look at him when he first started competing. He hadn't quite got the sort of the secret down at that point. He just had the good genetics, and then
technologies. As he calls it.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, bang, from nowhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. So, G, next question, Paul. We've got a couple of minutes.
Yeah, like last question now. Anyway, so if you could train in any gym in the world tomorrow, what would you pick and what session? So basically, what would you train first?
You know what? I am really curious to see what they're doing over in these oxygen gyms. I am curious. But with that said, I train in and out. I train in a couple of gyms in Liverpool. I say I know I should just answer, I'll go to this gym, but I can't because I've got to think these through. You know, like there's the gym in Liverpool, Prosty, fantastic gym, but I think that's just a Scouse version of oxygen. It's like all the latest kit, and I don't actually. The more I think about it, I don't actually enjoy that kind of training. You know, the technology. I think what we've got near us, Flex and Tone. I'd like to find the equivalent of that, but maybe in America, I think maybe Metroflex, that kind of train, that kind of style of gym. With, you know, the bumping music. I don't know of many. Like I don't follow them, but I know that style of Metroflex, the older kit, the steel plates clanging off each other. And the kind of session it would probably would be legs or maybe back. It'd be a big heavy hitting session in an old school sort of environment where the weights are climbing off each other and fitness orders, gym music bouncing, like that kind of vibe. Taken away from like as much as curiosity, I am curious to see what they're doing.
You literally get assigned someone who racks your weights for you. Like,
oh, you know what? The other day, I felt I'll ask them because like I jumped in with deadlifts on this guy. I know. Like I jump in, it's like, what do you wear? I put to 260 today. Like, it's like, oh, that's a lot. It's fucking not. It's not a lot. Like I thought shit. It's 260 wear good for me. But obviously Tom had given me this new program, and it was 3 sets of 15. And that's hard on 260, man. It shouldn't be, because 300, I've done 300 for 10. So 260 for 15 should have been okay, but it wasn't.
But it wasn't.
The hardest thing was putting the weights away after. It took me about 20 minutes to put the weights back. I had to I've got this plastic stool that I've been carrying around me while I train. It's just in the gym. But I put it down between the sets and gassed.
That's the picture we need in black and white. That's if someone's watching, if they could get that picture for us. That's what we want.
I had to literally take breaks between putting plates back. that's where I'm at. I mean, off season's hard.
I fucking know that. I can't put my sock on in one go. I have to do like the hoop. Well, not now because I'm light now. You can do the hoop and then, okay, right. I just got to get the heel in.
I have to get my foot on my knee and I can't do it any other way.
I can see why JP just went, fuck it, I'm never wearing socks or shoes ever again.
Yeah, just rolling around like a beached whale on your bed, trying to catch your toe like a game.
I can see why.
Credit to that fella, mate, JP, the way, the size he is, the weight he is, and the amount of muscle he's got. You've got to give credit to that. Like, that's impressive, that man. It is.
I love stuff like that. I love the extreme.
It's an extreme. It's now I'm getting back into the depths of Aussie. I've been this weight before, pushed a little bit heavier than this. I think a bit tired this time. But I think it's like 320 or something I've seen. I don't know if it's that big, but I know he's at least 300 pounds. He's only 5'6", something like that. It's a big fella.
Yeah.
How did he do it, man?
Yeah. I mean, he was the first guy to be like smashing CPAPs and fucking all that sort of stuff and doing like ice baths, and he was he was relentless. He was doing stuff people weren't ready for. And now it's kind of normal procedure. Yeah, I love his absolute relentless like addiction to being the most mental looking human in the UK. I think it's great. I don't know, stuff like that does it for me. I'm not into like fanciness and like, I don't know, people talk about flow and stuff like that. I don't know, I just like freaks. I don't know.
Does it do it for
you? I'll never have a pretty physique, I don't think. Me and Tom was talking about the other day, that's the goal now. So I have literally just got to get bigger. I'm never going to be never going to be Mark. I'm never going to be Mark Hector. And he's the way he's put together, fantastic. Yeah. You're never going to match that flow and them lines. But can you then beat somebody? Obviously, theoretically, because I'm not at that standard yet. But could somebody beat him who's gnarlier and bigger and more conditioned?
Well, you've got to just do you. I always say this to everyone: do you until you've done it like so well that they have to award it.
That's it.
If you're chasing someone else's look, that's why I'm not, feedback. You get feedback that actually is impossible for you. Don't chase something you can't fucking do. Just do you more.
That's it. You will bigger, or you will sharper, you will present yourself better. There's always improvements to make. It's the whole image. It's a complete package that you've got to improve on with bodybuilding, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
So, at this point in the podcast, John, I doubt you've watched this far. We make this clear every time we say it. We do a 5 top tips. So we ask our guests to give us 5 top tips for the people watching. So they can be bodybuilding related, or they can just be general tips.
Cool.
Loads of them have been shit, so there's no pressure.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, I just think it's worth saying that, like, oh my God, there's pressure. Not really. Loads of them have been shit.
Yeah.
Somebody out there is going to take it seriously, though, see that?
We have a pretty strong following of people that know that we chat bollocks here.
That's essentially what all we do, to be fair. So.
Yeah.
It keeps us going.
And I'll try and be serious with it. Right. One is stay consistent in your approach. So, regardless of what your approach is, there's not necessarily always a right and wrong with bodybuilding. But stay consistent and then monitor from there. With changing your plan every day of the week. You're never going to gauge what works for you. Two will be work hard. Actually, fucking work hard though. Like, a lot of people think they're working hard, but they're not. Be realistic with it and train with intensity and purpose, and do the same with your diet and everything else. 3.
See, you're gonna have to make some of them shit.
Yeah. Don't be a complete gobshite with gear, and always, even if you have a coach, if you've got a good gut feeling that something's wrong, it probably is. So do your research around.
That was one of Samson's as well.
Was it? Yeah.
That was one of his tips. Even if you've got a coach who's telling you if it feels wrong, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But on the other shoe, listen to your coach.
Yeah.
Well, have a conversation about it,
Say. Number 4 is be I don't know, maybe it's not, maybe it's a tip, or just be aware of what's actually involved. The bodybuilding it's consuming, and it does require everything to get to that next level, to make as a maximum progress. Is just be aware of the commitment involved, because it does take a lot. You can't really half-arse it. I'll joke around that I'll just throw weights about, eat fucking Cocoa Pops and squares, but it's a lot more than that, and it does take time, commitment. So I just say be aware of that. Number 5, presentation is key, and that's not just regarding with your stage, with what you do on the stage. I was always watching, whether you're off stage or on social media. So always conduct yourself in a good manner, or to the best of your ability, and be true and be honest. in how you carry yourself. Don't try and be anyone else, just be yourself.
They seem to be the guys that do well anyway, and the ones who are genuine and You know, consistent. I think they're the guys who have a big following in bodybuilding.
Steve, you threw me a bit of an oxymoron there, because you were like, present yourself in the best way, and I'm like, well, I don't fucking do that. and then you were like this, and I was like, well, fucking hell. And then you were like, be yourself, and I was like, well, like, the fuck, what are you saying to me?
I was all about people making a good impression, so it sort of excludes you.
The problem is Dan's self is unpresentable. That's the thing.
But I'm true to my unpresentability.
I'm only joking.
Yes, sir. He's the exception to the rule.
Be aware that, you know, obviously the industry, man, you can. It's a small industry. Most people know each other or know of each other. So try not to make enemies, and you go out your way to speak to people. And that's as a whole for that. It's a whole thing. It's not just about presentation. That one.
I've found that UK bodybuilding scene is genuinely supportive, and there's a lot of love. It's a good thing to be part of.
It is. It's fantastic. There is a few fucking weirdos.
Oh yeah.
And a few what do you say?
Cunts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about a few of them.
On the whole, it's a fantastic place.
I find as well, social media, once some people, like you said, aren't themselves on social media, and when you actually peel that back and meet them and get to know them, they are fucking sound. It's just, it's like this weird mask that they think is worth wearing.
Mate, bodybuilders, obviously they're gonna look mad, big bodybuilder, the mix. I've got the mix, them fucking shoes or whatever. Bodybuilder, you know what I mean?
Jack, are we disturbing you, pal?
No.
For the last 10 minutes on your phone.
No, and now and again I'll get messages sent through. So
now and again.
So fucking rude.
I'm listening.
I'm fucking. Do you do that with your mum at dinner?
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Put it mainstream. When you meet people, you'll find they're not very different. They're no different to yourselves. There's people that are a lot quieter in person. They are. You see people when they were 55, but you meet them in person, they're like timid.
Yeah. No, not me. Actually.
Yeah, definitely not Dan.
No, it's worse in real life. Shit.
Like that video your missus put up on Instagram of you on the toilet.
What's that? Didn't buy toilet roll. There was no warning.
Did you use the dog?
I had to use both dogs.
If you're not following Dan's stories on Instagram, John, you really need to.
I don't make the stories. Ellis just fucking films me and takes a piss out of me. Well, I think, like you said, gotta be myself. No point hiding. It's out there anyway. Fuck it, it's only a hobby that'll get me sacked from my actual job.
Are you a teacher, Dan?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
How does that?
No, it doesn't. Doesn't really. No, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, we're just counting down the days until.
Yeah, just kind of just seeing how many disciplinaries you actually get.
Are you a head teacher? What do you teach?
I teach music production.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
I've seen a guitar in the background.
Yeah, it's my bass. I slap upon the bass sometimes. Not.
You need to do us an intro.
Well, like a Seinfeld. Oh yeah, but I did that already, but with my face.
But not with your mouth, an actual one.
Yeah, okay, I'll work on it. We'll get a Bash Bros jingle. I could make that an assignment at work. I'll do that. I'll make them do it. I'll actually make that a brief. Yeah. A well-known podcast has asked you to make, not well-known, obviously. It'll be they won't know that.
Everyone knows from work or from school. Does anyone from work or from school know about your podcast?
Yeah, well, they don't know about the podcast. I did almost accidentally wear the Bash Bros t-shirt to work once, and I had to, like, it was a close call.
Don't do that.
Because I think like bodybuilding's like probably all right. Like it's kind of acceptable. Like you wear pants, that's okay. But the podcast is probably a no-no. So does anyone remember Devo? Do you remember?
He became a teacher, didn't he?
Yeah, because Devo became a teacher. Then someone found out that he was Devo, and he got sacked. So that's like kind of like, yeah, a cooler version of what I might accidentally do. But it's been all right so far. Luckily, most of the I teach. Well, I'm the course leader for an access course, so it's 19 plus. So I'm not like kindergarten cop and then coming on here talking about dying of AIDS. You know, it's like, you know, it's kind of, well, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like teaching though. Teaching is rewarding when it's rewarding and hard when it's not. It's a good thing, but it pays shit.
I thought it was like geography or something. I didn't or history.
Geography. Yeah, no, I don't know. My parents are both pro musicians, and my household has always been music. So
no way.
Yeah, so that's where it is. I'll sing you a song one day. I'll send it over.
Yeah,
that'll be nice.
On a voice note.
Yes, mate.
we don't get these. We don't get.
No, you're all cunts though.
Yeah, but that's not the point. You still don't send them to us.
I'm trying. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm gonna make a Bash Bros. We'll sort it out. There's something for everyone. I could work around this. I've got this.
It's like Santa Claus.
Yeah, like Santa Claus for jingles. It's gonna be nice.
On that bombshell.
That bombshell. Thanks for coming, Johnny. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, mate.
And well, I might see you on stage one day if I don't die of a heart attack, which seems to be a fucking trend.
You're a super heavyweight, aren't you?
Yeah, but you know, overalls.
You are now, aren't you?
Yeah, so it could be next year.
So, fight talk.
Don't worry, John. The fight talk doesn't end well for Dan anyway, so it's all right.
There's been a lot of losing. There's a bit of a losing streak going on recently. So
you'll do it again. Do the dance again.
Yeah, we're all right. We can only go in one direction, and that's bigger, paler, and nastier. And then lose.
Oh.